Hello there, Logan Laidlaw here, the DM for Nat19's Type Moon and Digimon Emblem story games. This has been a problem for a while, but this particular session of the Type Moon campaign was actually lost due to data corruption, and we don't have any backups of it. And it's a very important episode, it establishes a lot of characters, so I've decided to go ahead and do a point-for-point recap and explain what happens during this session. I apologize that the original session is lost. So, as the episode opens, the players find themselves in a prison in Adelia, the island nation that they were trying to get to, and they are told that outsiders aren't welcome, which is why they've been placed into custody. Their items have been taken away from them and hidden somewhere else the players aren't aware of, and they are told that a high priest of a local religious order, Duncan Ravison, who is part of a religious order that worships Alquam, the being that saved them at the end of the last episode, would like to meet them, and that they'll be detained until he arrives due to the bias of the local law enforcement. That night, the group is visited by a mysterious woman who sneaks in without being detected by any of the group. She does not appear to be part of the guard. She is not announced upon her entry, and they don't notice that she's in front of them until she seems to decide she wants to be noticed. When she finally does, she reveals that she is an outsider herself, and she is happy that she has met other outsiders. She tells them there is a way to earn the trust of the locals, and ensures them that's something they'll need, and that is to hunt down a murderer located in the remains of a town that was wiped out by something called the Void. Knowing that they can't get out, she promises that the following night she will come back and help them all to escape if they feel that's something that they need to do. In the meantime, she talked to them briefly about their situations, about their unique abilities, points out that she's figured out what most of them are capable of doing, and even notes that she feels sorry for Gael and would have, quote-unquote, no interest in his body due to his current state as a revenant of Alquam. She then disappears. The group then meets the next day Duncan, a well-dressed man wearing dark purple and black robes, who is the head of the High Order of Alquam. He orders the group to be released into his custody temporarily. Duncan walks the group through town, and he explains that there is a war going on in Adelia that threatens the safety of the island, and that the leader of an opposing religion to his, that he worships Alquam, the other order worships Kirin. Their order and their leader had taken advantage of an anomaly called the Void and used it to wipe out his religion, and he is the last remaining member of it. Duncan also points out that the tattoos that the players gained after being saved by Alquam also belonged to Duncan previously, as he was Alquam's avatar, but when his order was wiped out, Alquam abandoned him and now favors the players. So Duncan decides that he will as well. It's also revealed that Alquam is, albeit obviously, the one who stabilized the gateway for them to get to Adelia, because he wanted outside help. In the distance, the group sees that the forests of Adelia are withering and the land is dying. Duncan explains that the Void is sucking up all the magical energy that keeps the island alive, and it is rooted in a place called the Void Reach Chapel. He notes that the island will die if the war doesn't end soon. Noticing that the townsfolk look at them with fear, the group realizes that they are going to need to prove themselves as safe if they want to move freely around Adelia. Duncan takes them back to their cells after this, promising to arrange for their freedom if they promise to help him, and he says that although he doesn't know them, he explicitly trusts them because Alquam does as well. Well, in the cells, they meet another prisoner, Clyde, a bread thief that they take to rather quickly, a man of very few words. They are allowed to have their cell doors open, but they're not allowed to leave the prison or their cell block, so they build a blanket fort to pass the time collectively. That night, candles in the prison flicker to life and guide them to a hidden pathway in the walls of the prison that doesn't seem to have been used in a long time, and the group recalls the woman's promise to help them. They follow the way out and decide to go after the killer to prove themselves to the people of Adelia, sneaking out of the prison, hoping that bringing back the killer will justify having left. On their way through the old forgotten passageway, they find their belongings in a chest left by that woman, along with a map to their destination. They are shortly thereafter, as they emerge into this large cave that exits the pathway, attacked by a large invisible crocodile-like creature. Isla charms it with magic, and it safely leaves. Then the group continues off, heading towards their destination. That is the end of that session. So, a lot happens and a lot of information is dropped during it. The group found out a lot of context about Adelia, why outsiders aren't liked there, that the void has sprung up, and also, the group has lost Gearfree. I didn't mention that early on. Gearfree is no longer with the group. He appears to have been either flung somewhere else or didn't make it through the void. But I digress. That is that session. I should have made this sooner, and I apologize. Hopefully this helps new people who are getting into it not get so confused. I'll see you on the next session. Later.